Good afternoon. Welcome to the Afternoon Experiment. My name is Emanuel Livingston. I'm with you until about 5 o'clock. Thank you for supporting the show. I appreciate every one of you, all 7 of you who come and check out this show. I appreciate you guys. I don't know what just happened. The stream was up, it was going, and then it went out and came back up. I had nothing to do with it, but I'm here. I'm here. So that's that. I paid my bill. You know what I'm saying? I paid my bill. I did my part. Let me say hello to everybody. I don't have much to talk about today. I talked about everything yesterday. And then y'all be ungrateful sometimes because I be talking and y'all be like, what's the next subject? I'll be like, I ain't finished talking about this one. Yeah, we ready to move on. So I decided if that happens today, which probably won't, well, probably will, because I don't have anything to talk about. If somebody, I'm talking and people are like, what's the next subject? I'm going to just say no more subjects. That's it. Enjoy the rest of your day. And I'm going to go. Because I feel attacked when y'all do that. And I know me, I would lash out. I would lash out. Like yesterday when people were saying that, I wanted to lash out at y'all. But I'm working on, being better and not lashing out. So I just dealt with it. And then I slept and I dreamed about it all night. Like, why didn't I lash out? I should have did something about it. It ain't right. They ain't fair. So that's the way we're going to deal with it today. Robert Willis, good afternoon. Good afternoon, Robert Willis. Erica Hummins, representing Reading, good afternoon to you. Thank you for checking out the show. Good afternoon, Anthony Prosser. Good afternoon, Anthony. Scott Bain, good afternoon, representing West Walnut Hills. Scott Bain. And rounding out the top 5, Karen Dye Williams. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Thank you guys for being in the top 5. I'm going to have to figure out something I can do for the top 5. I don't know what. Man, top 5. Yeah, top 5. That ain't enough. I had to figure out something. I had to do something for the top 5. But thank you guys for checking out the show. I appreciate y'all. Nikki Carter, good afternoon. Tanika in the house. Tanika says first, not, but you're here. That's all that really matter. All that first, second, top 5, none of that really matters. Everybody is equal. That is my stomach. Everybody is equal, except the top 5 is a little bit better, but still the same. Good afternoon, Tanika. She's representing beautiful Orlando, Florida. Sierra Brooks representing Boston. I thought Wyatt, she said checking in while listening to Twin crash out on Wyatt. I thought Wyatt said he wasn't going to be on today. I didn't even check for his show today. He said he wasn't going to be on. So I didn't check for his show. So, okay. I could have swore Wyatt said yesterday, like he had to fly somewhere for something for one of his daughters and that he wouldn't be on, Wednesday and Thursday, and he'd be back on Friday. So, he won't be on tomorrow. I thought it was today and tomorrow. Okay. Man, I probably missed a really good show because I didn't even check for it today. Jerica. Wait a minute. I don't want to skip over Pamela Kinney. Good afternoon, Pamela Kinney, representing North Avondale. Good afternoon. We got Jerica in the house. Jerica, good afternoon. Hey, talk to the people over at Facebook/Meta. Maybe they got it out for you. But thank you for checking out the show. Regina Denson Griffin, good afternoon, representing 275. Got Daryl Carpenter. He say, what's up, everybody? He's representing Forest Park. And he's waving to someone. And he called them a bad name. I don't know who you're talking about. But I would imagine her name is probably Nikki. Andrea Bustle representing Gulf Manor. Good afternoon. T. Mikey G representing Covington, Kentucky. Good afternoon. Got Veronica in the house out of College Hill. Good afternoon. You owe us $5.30. Carolyn Smith, good afternoon. Got Dina Johnson in the house representing Walnut Hills. She's an angel, and she's representing Walnut Hills. Good afternoon. Mary Birch Lavender. Howdy, Mary. Good to see you. Thank you for checking me out. Ben Thomas from Southwest Blue Ash. All right. Well, good afternoon. Jerica Vaughn, I already said your name, but holla to you. Let me see. The only person who does that is Twoons. Okay. I don't know what he doing, but all right. Talk about China winning the game of chicken. Yeah. Let me see. Jericho said, y'all know he can be sensitive. I'm sensitive. Look, I openly admit it. I'm sensitive. I get emotional about stuff. I let y'all manipulate me. And, you know, all of that good stuff. Yeah. I admit all of that. I admit all of it. Lewis Talbert, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Sean D. Nutter in the house. Good afternoon, Sean. Ken says, come on, man, relax. And Ken is representing Virginia. He's representing Virginia, but he's from Cincinnati. Holding in a last shout is like holding in a 40. Eventually, your gut gonna bust. Yeah. Well, I don't know about the gut busting stuff, but when you hold it in, it does fester. I dreamed about it. I did. I dreamed about it. Afternoon experiment T-shirt. Thomas Bullet Sheely, representing Coleraine. All right. Well, good afternoon, Thomas. Your name is not familiar to me, so this may be your first time checking out the show. I appreciate you. I take time to say hello to everybody who say hello to me, or at least I try to, because I think it's important. It builds that bond that we have, because I feel a bond. And being able to individually say hello to everyone just helps us, in my mind, feel like family. Let me see. We got Fame in the house. I'm in Mariners, ready to talk greasy. I don't know what Mainers. I'm in Mainers, ready to talk greasy. I don't know what Mainers is, but thank you for checking out the show. Steban Speed representing, he didn't say, but good afternoon. Al Johnson representing Middletown. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. That would be Major Sierra, sending people $50,000. But we could flip that. On the top 5, send me $50,000 each. That would be great. Terry Anderson representing Downtown. Good afternoon. We got Valisa Lovett representing Blue Ash. Good afternoon. Brenda Early representing Fairfield. Good afternoon. He's in Madeira. Okay. I didn't know what Mainers was. Thank you. Jacqueline Carter, good afternoon to you. Tanika says, a mini pound cake for the top 5. You making that many pound cakes? I support you, though. Scott says, Wyatt won't be on tomorrow. Yeah, I thought it was both days. I'm upset that I missed this show. Y'all know I like to watch this show. Y'all know we don't agree on everything. We actually do agree on a lot of things. We don't agree on everything. And I like to watch and listen to shows, the people that I agree with and the people that I disagree with. I like to listen to it all. I like to listen to the shows that, like I was listening to Sean Hannity on the way in. Yes, Sean Hannity. I listened to his, now he's pretty much like just straight propaganda. Like, not even trying to act like, his is just straight propaganda. But I still listen to it. I don't understand why a lot of people on that side are so hateful. They're so hateful. When you really think about it, I was listening to the stuff that Sean Hannity was talking about. And everything was to some degree based on some sort of hate. Immigration ain't because the country's overcrowded or, oh, they're criminals. And even if it is because they're criminals, that's based on some hatred, on some stereotypical stuff that's rooted in hatred. So immigration. What else was he talking about? It was like in my mind, there was like a big four. But for whatever reason, I can't remember what those four things are. I drew a blank when I started talking about it and it got to immigration because it's so based in hate. I'll try to think about it as I go through the rest of my hellos. James Benta says, finally, I'm in the house. James, good to see you. I don't know James, but I see James Benta in the house, and I like seeing new names and, you know, kind of virtually meeting new people. It's good to see you. Glad that you're here, and good afternoon. Let me see. Brent Beard, representing Dallas, Texas. Good afternoon, Brent. Got Dwayne Larkin in the house. He says good afternoon. Dominique Finley in the house. One half of the Killer Bee. She's representing Walnut Hills. Good afternoon, Dominique. Good afternoon. Mary says, he said Friday, right? Look, I thought Wyatt said he wouldn't be on Wednesday and Thursday. He'd be back Friday. Apparently, he just said he won't be on Thursday, but he'll be back Friday. I know he said he'll be back Friday. That I know. Because remember yesterday, and he was about to wet y'all beak about something, but then, what was it, CK called in, interrupted the beak wetting. The top 5 is much more prestigious than a street naming in Cincinnati. I didn't talk about the street naming. I might get to that in a minute. I might get to the street naming in a minute. Andrea Bustle says he messed up on his schedule. He thought today he was going to be Thursday. Okay, so you're saying I didn't mess up. He did say he wouldn't be there Wednesday, but then he had messed that up, and now he won't be there on Thursday. That's the way I interpret what you're saying, Andrea. And I hope I'm right, because I like being right. Maria Smith, representing North College Hill, good afternoon. Anthony said he did. Wyatt old age got him confused. Okay, thank you. Twone's in the house. Twone say what's happening, Emanuel Livingston. Nice shirt. He's checking in before he worked tonight at Kroger. There's no S on there, sir. Crystal Hoskins, representing the Christ Hospital. Good afternoon, Twones and Crystal Hoskins. Vernon Jordan says you missed Twin. He was in the rarest of forms today. I'm just imagining, and it's funny to me. Nat Turner. Good afternoon. Let me see. It was a good show. He covered Carmelo Anthony, Crime on the Banks, and Don School, and Shannon Sharp. Yeah, all good stuff to talk about. I think he always does a good show. Alethea says, hello, great evening. Second half of the Killer Bees. The set is complete. Good afternoon, Alethea. Good afternoon. Let's see. Bonita out there in Roselawn. Good afternoon. Thank you for checking out the show. Ron Tucker. Good afternoon. Brenda Burt in the house. Good afternoon. Let me see. Oh, it was a play on Ohio, but he put O, a waving hand, and HOE. Okay. I don't know if that's what he's talking about, but Myosha Thomas, representing parts unknown. You don't even know what part of your property you own? That's what you're saying? You done got lost inside of the house? I've heard about that stuff happening. James Benta says, what about me, E? I said hello to you. I paused and even virtually met you. Maybe you typed that before I did that, because I'm behind. I missed the quote win. Well, hopefully he got it all out of his system. Janice, my favorite. Janice says, hey, everybody, I never know when you're going to pop up. All right, I'm here now. I'm here. Let me see. Pat Rogers representing East Westwood. I want to know, are you still trading services? I am still trading services. I'm always open to trading services. Let's see. Shahira in the house. She says, happy hump day. She's present and she's representing Bond Hill today. A little surprised to see you on here, to be honest. See, that's the kind of, and I'll be like, well, I don't want you to be surprised. So y'all have a nice day. Cause I know an undercover, as my white friends now like to say, low-key shot when I hear one. White people done got a hold of low-key and F around and find out. They done got a hold of those two things and they just won't let it go. I'm not mad at them, you know what I'm saying? Y'all said it a whole lot when it was new to y'all too. Y'all said it a whole lot. But, hey, no. Well, they just got a hold of it. You know, they got to do what they got to do. Lonzo Clark, good afternoon. He said he just at work chilling, watching the show. I appreciate it. Let me see. Shirley Ellis Howell, representing Westchester. That's my cousin. Good afternoon. Thank you for supporting, cuz. Lewis Johnson. Let me see. Albie Sherrill was born an R&B singer, in my opinion. All right, CK. I appreciate it. I think that's it. I think I got everybody. Black Lion. Good afternoon, Black Lion. Good afternoon. The fake Dave Stinger. Y'all, that is my stomach that y'all hear growling. I didn't eat today, and my stomach. Plus, I think I really need to get checked out. It shouldn't growl as much as it does, but it's doing some growling, and y'all hear it in the background. I don't have sound effects. That's not thing opening up, giving me something. That's an old reference. You know when, was it The Monsters? Was it The Monsters? No, wait a minute. What was the show that had thing on it? It was just a hand, and he would open up the thing, and thank you thing, and then the hand would do something, and then and close it back. That's not thing. That was a long way to go, but it was a reference just in my head. And then when I said it, I had to explain it. But in the middle of explaining it, I was like, why? Nobody cares about thing. Ain't nobody thinking about thing. You could have just left that one. But I had already said it, so I had to explain it. But yeah, that's the Addams Family. Thank you. So yeah, that's my stomach. That's not thing. But I might need to get that checked out. But I feel fine. Just I haven't eaten yet. Fake Dave Stinger say, what's up? It's the real me checking in. All right. Let me see. I think that's everybody. Scroll real quick. Diane Huddleston Angel representing Coleraine Township. Good afternoon. Let me see. Jabbar Rhodes. Good afternoon. Representing UC Health. All right. Good afternoon. And I think that's about it. I'm definitely not passing gas. Here. That's my stomach. I can't help it. All right. So, welcome to the show. I appreciate everybody for being here. Again, as I was saying, I was listening to Sean Hannity on the way in. And it just really struck me, like, not that I didn't already know, but y'all, we in trouble. Like, just hang the flag upside down. Because as a country, we're really in distress. And we've got a guy who's kind of supposed to be leading the country. He just lies to us all the time. Nothing we can do about it. And it's crazy because everybody know he lying when he tell the lie. Like, you ever met somebody like that? Somebody that tell you something, you know they lying. Like, you can tell, like, this is a lie. But you just sit and you just listen to it. Like, Okay. And you might ask a question or two because everybody in the room know they lying. They the only one who don't understand that everybody in the room knows that they're lying. And so they tell the lie with such confidence that everybody already know. And you'd be like, like, oh, I used to be a pimp back in the day. And you just ask them simple questions just to let everybody know that, yeah, we all know that this person is lying. And you ask them a simple question, and then they kind of either, well, like, how much is ass going for? You was a pimp. How much was ass going for? Well, no, I don't know. You was the pimp. Tell me how much was ass going for when you was pimping. And then they can't tell you. And then you just ask a simple question just to kind of point out that we know you lying. Trump is that guy. Trump is that guy. And they have to fact check him. Y'all know we talked about him saying that gas was $1.98 a gallon. When it wasn't. The average price was, $2.70 a gallon. He talked about groceries going down. Groceries haven't gone down. They've gone up. But he says it with confidence. Egg prices. He says, as you know, the cost of eggs has come down like 93.94% since we took office. Egg prices have gone down 93 or 94%. Have gone down 93 or 94% since you took office. 93 or 94% since you took office. And we all supposed to just believe it. And we all looking at each other like we all know. But then we have to come together and say, once he leave the room, why that nigga say he used to be a pimp? We all know that nigga wasn't no pimp. Why is he telling us he was a pimp? We all know. Do anybody in this room believe that nigga was a pimp? No. That nigga wasn't no pimp. Right, we all know. So you have to wait till he leave the room, and that's what we doing with Trump. You have to wait till he leave the room to say, we all know egg prices have not gone down to 93%. And it's not like you're even really asking a question. You more making a statement to make sure that ain't some idiot in the room gas prices did go down 93, 94%. And I saw a butt-naked alien in the backyard. You know what I'm saying? You have to ask the question just to make sure that that one guy ain't in the room. It's just, we're in distress. He won't obey the Supreme Court. We have a Department of Justice that ain't gonna do nothing to him. It's wild. It's wild. Alethea, don't get caught up on the example. Alethea, don't get caught up on the example. It was just an example. But I don't know. It's wild out here. So then we all walk around as if we don't. And here, I'm going to be honest. The sad part to me, well, not the sad part. A lot of it is sad. One of the frustrating things to me is Democrats, a lot of y'all ain't making it no better. A lot of y'all ain't making it no better. And I think y'all kind of misreading the room. Right? I want to support Democrats. I would love to wholeheartedly support Democrats. But they go hard on some stuff that they just shouldn't go hard on. Again, it's the same thing. It's the same thing that was going on during the election. Y'all really haven't figured out there's a huge portion of in particular, the black electorate that we are socially conservative. We hold certain values. Call us what you want to call us, all right? Because, yesterday when we were talking about, the people being able to opt out and all of that kind of stuff, I think almost universally, everybody, and the people who watch this show is probably like 98, 99% black. And I would say 98, 99% of the people were like, yeah, we don't want to see all that LGBTQ stuff. We don't support that stuff. We don't hate those people, but we don't support that stuff. But the Democratic Party won't let that stuff go. I'm not a big proponent of all of this deportation and stuff. I'm sure I'm off base here. Like, I'm not necessarily in lockstep with the majority of Americans, probably. I haven't done a poll, of course, of the majority of Americans to really say, with 100% certainty. But I'm not with all of the deportation. Like, look, if you made it here, this is my feeling. This is my feelings on it. If you made it here and you ain't hurting nobody, you just trying to make a better life for you and yours, man, do what you got to do. Leave them alone. Leave them alone. If they get caught, they get caught. And then, kind of put them on a path to citizenship or something like that. But just rounding people up just because and kicking them out, I don't like that. I don't like that. And again, I try to think about it if it was me. If the United States falls into complete chaos under Donald Trump and Donald Trump Jr., because when Donald Trump becomes the king, then his firstborn son becomes the king when he passes away. Donald Trump and Donald Trump Jr. and all them. And then things just go to hell. And me and my family got to get the hell out and go to Canada. It'd be cold. I'm not looking forward to being cold. I don't like the cold, okay? But I'll go to Canada, but I have to carry a coat. I'll go to Canada, and Tanika, we'll never be friends. You'll be down in Florida talking, it's a beautiful day, and I'll be like, I'm in Canada. It's like 32 below. I'm sleeping in an igloo. I'm thinking Alaska, but it's the same concept. I'm gonna be cold. And if I had to go to Canada and I'm up there working, making my way, doing what I have to do, I'm struggling, but I done found me a little job where I can keep my igloo up. You know what I'm saying? Me and my family and my little igloo, and we eat every day and all that kind of stuff, and I ain't harming nobody. I don't want the Canadians to come and snatch me up and send me back to Ohio. I ain't hurt nobody. I'm just trying to make it. So that's how I feel about the immigrants. Now, look, if you up in here and you committing crimes and all of that kind of stuff, I'm 100% round them up, put them in jail. Send them back. You can't be killing people and murdering people and raping people, okay? But the Democrats, I get a lot of it is talking points and all that kind of stuff. But you create a situation where they can have those talking points. Y'all should be, if anything, just focus on that one dude who down there who allegedly didn't commit no crimes. They don't have any proof that the dude is like in no gang or nothing like that. They just snatched him up because he had a tattoo and they deported him. Make that y'all message and make it that that's wrong. That's not constitutional, and he didn't obey the Supreme Court. But now what? All the Democrats taking trips to El Salvador to meet with the guy and all of that kind of stuff. CK?
Sorry about that. I'm sorry. Yeah. What's up, brother? Hey, Livingston.
Yes.
My bad, homie. Hey, man. It's a good show. I was listening to you. You was talking about the presidency, Donald Trump and them.
Yes.
But I had to call you out on something you said.
Okay.
You have to, you said the N word. What you said about him? That N word wasn't no pimp. Remember that?
Yes.
That's where you have to adjust you gotta adjust that part. Because I noticed when I use Jewish in a racial slur, it seemed like you got your panties in a bunch. But then you have no problem calling your own kind racial slurs.
Well, again.
But when I said Jewish crackers, you took that like it personally offended you.
Well, again, I view it differently than you.
Okay, talk to me.
I don't view me saying that necessarily as a slur. Okay? So I don't view me saying it as I'm one of those people who believe black people can say it, but can't nobody else say it. So that's just where I stand on it.
Oh, I respect that too. But you saying you doesn't. So when you hear the N word spoken by your own people, you're not affected emotionally.
No, not necessarily.
Oh, and okay, not so in certain instances.
Sure.
Yeah, I just wanted. Yeah. I wanted to get that.
I wasn't saying that I'm so offended that you used the term cracker. I just I didn't think it was necessary. And
mean-spirited.
And yeah, it was a little just mean-spirited. It was just for no reason, just for the sake of using it. And maybe even a little hate-filled. I'm not using the N-word to be hateful, even though I can understand if somebody did perceive it that way. But
yeah, that N-word used to be a pimp. It sounds a little hateful, right? That uniform, he used to be no pimp. You hating on the pimping, right?
What? No, I'm not hating on the pimp. I'm hating on, even though I think it's fair to hate on pimps, but I'm not hating on the pimp. I'm hating on imaginarily, which I'm not sure that that's a word, but I'm using it.
I like that, though.
Imaginarily, I'm hating on a hypothetical person who may or may not have told people that at some point they was a pimp and they ran a pimp ring around the world, and we all knew that they didn't.
Yeah,
so
okay.
I'm hating on the lie, not on the pimp.
And I'm just trying to tell you, for us in this 50 plus, I'm 49, but the 50 plus and 40, 45 plus, we have to stop using the N word to encourage the young fellers. Remember? So when they hear us speak, when they hear you make that, you're influencing them.
Influencing them to what?
The N word. You got to show them that you would never use that under no circumstances.
But again,
you got to show the youth.
But again, I don't have that big of an issue with black people using that word. So
exactly. Neither do black people. That's what I'm saying. I'm just saying, I understand what you're saying, but maybe if you could fix that, that's a chink in your armor. See, they can always use that against you. See, the monkeys always they talk about themselves. Even the higher guys use the N-word. But when you stop using it, when you eradicate it from your vocabulary, there you go, Your Highness.
Okay, I'll consider that again. I consider it every few years. And eventually I keep coming back around to it. But I'll consider that again.
Yeah, because and I wanted I think you're bending your moral fibers with this Shannon Sharp case because of personal issues. I think usually when you talk about subjects, you're matter of fact and technicality. Now we're using, and you correct me if I'm wrong, I think people are using their personal distaste of what Shannon is doing with the young girl to judge his overall accusation. What are your thoughts?
Well, no, I don't know what he did or what he didn't do. My judgment of Shannon Sharp is that he made, I feel like it was a lapse in judgment to, be dating some 19-year-old when you that old. So I just think that's a lapse in judgment, and it opens you up. If her accusations are false, you opened yourself up to those false accusations. If the accusations are not false, well, you shouldn't have did it. But I know people won't really care. Kobe admitted basically to raping a chick, and people still like, hey, we love Kobe. So people don't really care if you rape people.
Right.
They don't really care, if you good at whatever. If they like you, they don't really care if you rape nobody. But my point is, he opened himself up to that. I don't know if he did it. I don't know.
And you make a great point when you said they don't care. It's like, how are the same bastards that were speaking on Skip Bayless? Oh, Skip Bayless is my friend. I'm there for him. The same black dude come on there and say, well, I don't know this case. So you have two different cases based on the person, based on the race of the skin. Stephen A. Smith, he gave Skip the benefit of the doubt. He did not give the African-American friend, he calls him, the same benefit he gave Skip. He trying to get that boy fired immediately, Livingston. This is the things I want you to know. Okay. This is the things I want you to know. He's put out a soliloquy, and he said, "Oh, I talked to the bosses. I'm compromised. I don't know how can you be compromised? This is a person you know and a person you don't know."
I don't know what you're talking about. So this whole piece
I'm saying,
of this conversation is over.
This is what I'm saying, so let me be clear. Skip Bayless have the same accusations. Why is the black man accusations so sensationalized when white guys do the same thing in the same position?
Okay, I don't know anything about Skip Bayless accusations, and that's probably because Skip Bayless is a white guy, and I typically don't follow a lot of things that go on in white culture with white people that I don't know or follow or appreciate.
Okay, and when you said he put himself in this position, do you feel that way about victims of rape, that they put themselves in that position to get raped or sexually assaulted?
Yes, sometimes. Yeah.
I really want to know.
Yes, sometimes they do.
And you understand the backlash you get behind it.
What backlash? Who gets behind what?
It's called blaming the victim, Livingston. You can play crazy all you want, but that's what they call it when you blame a woman for getting raped. They say it don't matter what time she came out at night. It don't matter what she was wearing. That woman deserves to do what she has to do. That is talking against rape. So they tell them rapists, just because this woman is out 3 a.m. with a ministry girl, don't give you the right to rape her.
No, I agree with that 100%. But the question that you asked me was, do I believe that there are times when women put themselves in a position, to be taken advantage of? Clearly, saying? You be so drunk you passed out around people that you don't know. You've just left yourself in a vulnerable position. That don't mean it's okay for somebody to take advantage of you, but it's only reasonable to say you put yourself in a vulnerable position. So yes, there are times when victims put themselves in the position to be victimized, but it's not their fault that they got victimized. But if they made some bad decisions and put themselves in that position, that's just the truth.
And that's the difference. But I would never hear, this is a major difference. You would hear them say, I blame Shannon Sharp for everything he's going through. I don't think you would hear the same for the victim. Would you agree? Well, even if he was innocent.
Just so, I didn't say I blame Shannon Sharp for everything he's going through. I don't know if he did what he's accused of or not, but he made a decision and it left him open to be taken advantage of. That's just a fact. It did.
Hmm. That's true. That's true.
All right.
And I just want the people to know that the circumstances he's going through can happen with anyone, any age. Don't just take it because 50-year-old women have destroyed guys with false allegations just as well.
All right.
So I mean, if that's just your hang up, hey man, great show, man. I appreciate you talking to me, man. Education, politics, and God. Let's do it.
I appreciate you, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. That was, hold on a minute. As I do that, that's what I'm going to do from here on out when I get rid of a call until they figure this thing out with this program. I'll shut the program down, open it back up after every call. Yeah, no, Shannon, he definitely made decisions that left him vulnerable to be taken advantage of. Now, if this lady lied on him, she's wrong. She shouldn't lie on him. And yes, he's a victim. But he left himself open to be taken advantage of. And hopefully, if he didn't do anything wrong, he doesn't, suffer any lasting consequences from it. Somebody asked me, and I would almost stop the call. Who was it? Where is it? Scroll. Ron Tucker. Ron Tucker says, when the hell did Kobe admit that? And I said, Kobe basically admitted that he raped that girl. And when did he admit that? When he held that press conference, when they had made that settlement. And he said something to the effect of, I could see how she could think that she was being raped. Or, I don't remember the exact verbiage, but something along those lines. To me, that's an admission. I don't believe that there's a woman out there who was having consensual sex who thought she was being raped. Like, consensual is consensual. It's understood. And if you had sex with a woman, but looking back, you could see how she thought she was being raped, you was raping her, bro. That's an admission to me. But people don't care because he's Kobe. They don't care. Myosha says he wrote the victim a letter saying, I could see how you may have viewed what happened as rape. Therefore, Kobe raped that woman. Right. You can't, to me, that's an admission. But again, that's just me, and I guess me and Myosha. But, yeah. Lonzo say, messing with those 19 and 20-year-olds will get you caught up every time. And he left himself vulnerable. And Tanika said, because I don't want to look past what she said, because it's important. It's never a woman's fault if she's raped. Sickos and power-hungry men rape women. Now, just for the record, I agree with you. But just for the record, women ain't the only people who get raped. And people shouldn't rape people. So it's, even if you put yourself in a bad position, I don't think people should take advantage of it and do bad things to you. So I'm not saying, oh, it's her fault. But people do things and put themselves in bad positions. And they get taken advantage of. The person who did it is still wrong. But you cannot, it's possible to not do certain things to put yourself in a bad position. So that's all I'm saying, which is what I think Shannon did. And, I only mentioned it because CK brought it up. Ron Tucker says, recording saying a lot sometime. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. Tanika says, I know, but I said women because that's who we're focused on. Oh no, I'm just focused on people being victimized. CK brought up a woman specifically being raped, but I believe anybody could be taken advantage of at some point. CK says, if they didn't care, Kobe would not have got arrested for his crime, and you know this. Well, that's not necessarily true. But again, when I'm saying that people don't care, I'm saying, man, people overlook a whole lot of stuff if you are skilled or talented or whatever. I've been guilty of it. I've been guilty of it. I remember when Mike Tyson got arrested. I still don't know if Mike Tyson did that. I wasn't sure then. I'm not sure now. But I was still supporting Mike Tyson, even knowing that it's possible that he did what he did. Because I liked Mike Tyson. I enjoyed watching him perform in the boxing ring. I mean, it's sad to say that now, but it's true. It's true. Ken says, I thought once a man gets a certain age, we begin to make better decisions. I got too much to lose, and I'm too old to start over. Well, Ken, you're never too old to start over. I understand, got too much to lose. I hear people say that, and it sound good. Oh, I'm too old to start over. But if you had to start over, you could start over. You don't want to start over, and I can appreciate that. You're not too old to start over. But you should make better decisions. You definitely should. Twin saying some nonsense. Twin, I'm not exactly sure what this means, Twin. You look like you'll take some strawberry panties? What does that mean? I don't know what that means. You know, I grew up on the porch. You know what I'm saying? I'm a neutron. Whatever. I don't know what your Chicago street pimp gang organization jailhouse slang means sometimes. And that one, I don't understand what it means. What are you accusing me of? At least give me an opportunity to understand the accusation so that I can formulate some kind of a defense or comeback. Let me see. Dina says, I like Shannon Sharp. What's happening is disappointing. He needs to leave young women alone. He's a creep. That is some creep stuff. I don't know exactly how we got there. All of that came through a conversation with CK. I was talking about the price of eggs have not gone down 93 or 94%. That's what I was talking about. That's what I was saying. But we got a guy who just gets up and tells lies. Y'all all caught up on Shannon Sharp. Hold on. Here's the way that I think we should view things like, and this is just me. This is the way that I think we should view things like this Shannon Sharp thing. It's the way I think we should view it. It don't mean it's the way you got to view it, but it's the way I think we should view it. We don't know. So it's possible that the accusation is true. It's also possible that the accusation is made up. I hear people say, oh, they released this. Well, they should release the whole thing. Well, they released this. Well, they should release the whole thing. They only released a clip. They only released a clip. They only released it. Each side is only going to release stuff that makes their side look good. Both sides are playing a game of let's try to manipulate the public because this is a battle for public opinion. So from my perspective, I don't know what happened. That lady could very easily be lying on Shannon, and Shannon could very easily have done what that lady said he did. Try to make good decisions so that you're not put in a position like that. If some 20-year-old come up right now talking about I did something to her, she gonna have a long way to go to prove, because I don't know you. You ain't got no recording of me unless you done did some AI stuff. You ain't got no recording of me doing nothing with you, saying nothing to you, or being with your little behind. I'm not worried about it because I'm trying to make good decisions. I'm trying to make decisions that make sense. And it really don't make sense. Some of the decisions that Shannon Sharpe seems to have made or has admittedly made. Now, he got a right to make those decisions, I guess. I guess he got a right to make those decisions. Who am I to tell anybody you're not allowed to, as a, 50? How old is Shannon Sharpe? I don't know. As an old man, you're not allowed to have sex with a 19-year-old? Who am I to tell somebody that? You're allowed to. I guess. You're allowed to. I think maybe something wrong with you if you do. But you're allowed to. Shannon, 57, messing around with a 19-year-old. That don't seem right to me. But that's just to me. That's just to me. Monique did warn him, though. She really did. Monique told him when she was on that interview with him, you need to leave them young girls alone. And he sat there giggling. She did. She warned him. She flat out told him, plain as day, leave them young girls alone. She might even use the B word. I don't remember. Leave them young girls alone. And people ain't gonna like this. Some people ain't gonna like it. But, man, lead them. I don't think I would ever, definitely wouldn't mess with a young girl. But if I was crazy enough to mess with a young 20-something-year-old, it would definitely be a sister. It would definitely be a sister. And look, to my knowledge, I've never been accused of sexually assaulting anyone. All right? But if I feel like I feel a kinship with some of my brothers in the past who've been falsely accused because some Caucasian woman got caught with them, and I've seen the power of white woman tears, and I've seen the power of white male fear. And when you combine those two and aim all that power at a black man, we've all seen how bad that can go. We've seen them turn those tears on when they was dead in the wrong. I watch a lot of clips of police interactions and Karens and all of that kind of stuff. And I've seen a video where a white man walked in, didn't do nothing. The white woman wanted him to do something. He refused to do it. She called the police and she starts crying. That man, the whole thing caught on tape, that man ain't did nothing wrong, but next thing you know, he in cuffs. Now, he was, the particular video I'm talking about, he was let out of the cuffs because there was a person there recording the entire thing. But that man went from minding his own business to about to go to jail because a white lady cried. And a white male police officer got mad and scared at that black man who made that white lady cry with no evidence of anything actually happening. And he was getting ready to go to jail. So if I were to make the horrible decision to get with some young chick, I'm sorry, y'all, but sister, y'all tears don't have that power with those guys. And this ain't even about you love who you love and all of that kind of stuff. And I'm just me. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not no athlete. We saw, what was that, Michael Irving? Man, that dude basically got kicked out of the media because a white lady lied on him down there. Was that in Dallas during the Super Bowl week or something like that? I remember seeing the video. He tried to holler at her, and then she said he did something that he didn't do. He basically got kicked out of the media. Did he ever get his job back on the NFL Network or, you know, whatever? I of course, I don't watch it, but John says Trevor Bauer would disagree with you. Who's Trevor Bauer? Refresh my memory. Refresh my memory on who Trevor Bauer is. And look, I'm not saying that accusations from black women are never taken seriously. I'm not saying that. But, come on, the truth of the matter is, Daryl says he never lost his job. He didn't, because I remember he was supposed to be broadcasting something for the Super Bowl. That was Super Bowl, wasn't it? He was supposed to be, and they pulled him from that. So maybe he was never fired, but he was pulled from an assignment at the very least. Again, I'm not claiming to know all the details about that. But I remember that lady saying he did some stuff, and basically on video we could see he didn't do what she said he did. But he lost some opportunities, and for what people believed, that lady. I'm just sorry, I wouldn't put myself in that position. I wouldn't put myself in that position. Ron says, Susan Smith taught me not to believe that. Yeah, she said a black man took them babies that she just drowned. Miss Pittsburgh said, no, he did not. He didn't get his job back. I don't want to necessarily get caught up on Michael Irving. My point was, or y'all can get as caught up into it in the chat as y'all want to, but the point that I'm making clearly is, look, if somebody gonna take me down, you know what I'm saying, on some, I feel like, and I'm sorry, sisters, but it's just, y'all already know this. I don't know, I'm not apologizing to y'all for that. Y'all already know. I feel like I got a better chance beating some accusations made by a sister than by a white woman. Whatever the accusation is, I feel like I got a better chance of beating an accusation from a sister from a white woman. White woman say he hit me, man, I'm going to jail. I got to prove I did not hit that. Sister say he hit me, I didn't hit her. Damn, he says he didn't hit you. You know what I'm saying? Sisters don't get protected like white women do. I feel like that's just a fact. If you can't accept that, you just not being honest. I feel like. So yeah, Shannon, and Tanique say you don't remember Monique telling him that. I didn't really think about it until I was on Facebook, and about 4 different posts came up of the clip of Monique telling him, "You need to stop messing with them young girls." And she said it. She was cussing the whole nine. And he was just grinning. But she did tell him. And now, and it would be cool, not cool, because, you know, ain't none of this cool. But it would be cool if he could just be like, you know what? I didn't do nothing with her. She too young for me. And all of this is made up. And she don't have no voicemails or no video or no nothing. How you let them videotape you having sex with somebody and you don't have a copy of it? I told y'all yesterday, if it was me and I'm that dude, yes, you signing an agreement saying everything that we do is cool, and you're signing to be recorded because I'm recording every second of it, so you can't say at any point, I said no and he kept going. No, she didn't. And I might have a crew, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're making pornography? No, but, you know what I'm saying? I need close-ups of your face and your mouth so that you can't say you said no. We got all of that in focus, in frame, the dude with the boom mic. So, you know, well, I whispered no, because that mic would have caught it. How this one catch my stomach growling, that one would have caught you saying, no, Shannon. You know what I'm saying? You not, no. You're not getting me on no nonsense. You agreeing to all of this stuff. I'm not getting caught up. Not like that. Jerica says that Courtney Claney white girl, I don't know how you pronounce that, who admitted to murdering her black boyfriend, she's out on bond. Y'all keep thinking America love y'all and everything is good and everything is fair if y'all want to. And this, I got white friends. Like, I'm for real. I got white friends. We talk about this stuff. They all know. They know. This country ain't right. If they know it, why so many of us in denial? Some of these are just simple truths that we have to just accept. And then act accordingly. Or as they say in church, govern yourself accordingly. Just what black person thinks America loves them? Oh, they out there. Oh, they out there. I mean, you know, from your Tim Scott to your Herschel Walker, they out there. From that level on down, they are out there. Did you say in her face and in your mouth? I'm not exactly sure what you're talking about. Context matters. Well, I don't know. I don't know if I said that. I don't know. But what I'm telling you for real, you can best believe, not that it's ever going to happen. It's never going to happen. But you can best believe if I'm out there messing with some young girl, and especially some young white woman, I'm protecting myself. Yes, Byron Donald's another one. They out there. They are out there. Jenna says, if a man had to go through all that, that's a clear indication not to proceed. Well, not necessarily, because you don't really know. You know what I'm saying? You know, I mean, the same thing could happen with a, you know, old chick that's been ran through. The same thing could happen. Shannon Sharp could have been with some 55-year-old sister that's been ran through 55 times. You know what I'm saying? And she could still come back like, oh, he sexually assaulted me. It could happen. You never know. And people ain't waiting till they get married no more. Janice, they not doing that. People getting it in now. People getting it in. Y'all, I don't have, number one, I don't have a lot of time. I really didn't want to even get into nothing that, I had a question for y'all. Cause I saw a question on Facebook and I was astounded by the lack of a particular answer. And this is not, it's nothing deep. It's not even really something fun, but the question was, and I guess y'all still want to talk about Shannon Sharp. And I'll because I see a few questions there, and I'll answer them. I don't mind answering them. An R&B album in the history of R&B. I don't want to call it a perfect album, but give me some R&B albums that from cut 1 to cut 12 or cut 16 or whatever is just off the chain. Like, it ain't no throwaway songs on the album. Give me the artist and the album. Give me the artist and the album. I just want y'all opinion. Brent.
Hey, what's going on, Emanuel?
Hey, how you doing, sir?
I'm all right. All right. We're going to jump right in. It's time for the wrestling report.
I thought we did the wrestling report yesterday.
Yeah, but we're going to do it today to see if we can get Twin to drop off again, because it worked with Rick Jr. So maybe it'll work with Twin too. But yeah, but no wrestling report today. No wrestling report. But just had a couple of quick things for you. Number one, did you get a chance to see the video of the?
I
Praise
did. I
Band?
saw the video.
Okay, now is that your Jesus?
What? I didn't see anything wrong with that Jesus.
That Jesus didn't push his plate and turn it over. He didn't.
I saw absolutely nothing wrong with that Jesus. He was just a big dude.
Yeah, well, I think that since you have called yourself on many occasions, someone who may be a little portly, that you see a kinship, a brotherhood.
No, I don't necessarily think that those dudes, back in the day was just some super skinny dudes, running around. You could see all their ribs and stuff like that. I think there was some heavy set dudes back then too. Why couldn't Jesus be just a heavy set dude?
I don't. Well, if you was a heavy set dude, more than likely you ate a lot, and if you ate a lot, you had a lot of money. We know Jesus didn't have much money. He had to get money out of fish mouths to pay taxes. So that's just not.
I don't know that I agree with that. I think Jesus was around a lot of wealthy people, and he had access to a lot, and I'm sure a lot of people gave things to him. I could see Jesus not being hungry, you know.
Okay, not a problem. Yeah, Jesus could have had an unconventional hairline too, but I digress. Yeah, Susan Smith, that whole deal, man. That, like I said, it was real for me because I was living in South Carolina at the time, and my mom had my voicemail, the little cassette tape and everything. It was totally full, and I'm like, what in the world's going on? Because in your early 20s, I didn't watch much news and everything, but then she told me about it, I was like, oh. So I could have wound up missing from there, and thankfully they, the cops saw through her, all those fake tears and everything. But and jumping to Shannon Sharp, when he was, when Monique, did tell him, he should have him, a lady, I forgot, I think, did she say Eunice, or she named some name for a lady that was of a more mature, close to our ages. So I was just thinking, what are some of the names of the ladies that Shannon Sharp should be dating? So I'm thinking some of them. Shirley is definitely a name of a woman that Shannon should be dating. Brenda, that's a name. We got I think 3 different Brendas in the chat. A Tanya or a Tanya is a name. Maybe like a Monica or a Vanessa or a Jackie. And then any name that you have the prefix of N-A, L-A, or J-A. So like LaDonna or Natasha or not Janice, but like a Janika. And then with that, if the name ends in Ika, Etta, and Aya, those are definitely names of ladies that Shannon should stick to, and he probably won't have the situation that he has now. But if the charge is not true, I hope he is able to beat those charges and clear his name and continue to make that money. But maybe this is his N-word wake-up call.
Yeah.
But we'll see. We shall see.
All right.
And the last thing is that one of the things with my with my engineering position is that I get to drive a lot of fun cars. And one of the cars, the car I'm driving now is the Lexus LX 700 Hybrid, and they brand this the ultra luxury. So you have massage seats in the front and the rear. It parks itself. The doors close by themselves, and there's a whole bunch of features I haven't figured out. And even the back seat, you can get in the back seat, hit a button. The front passenger seat will go all the way forward, and the rear seat will go all the way back, so you can almost lay completely flat. And then you have like a footrest or leg rest that comes out, and even for me, I'm 6'3", I have plenty of leg room where I can stretch my legs out all the way. So this vehicle is crazy. And then I looked at the MSRP. They call it Neroni, but it's the sticker that's on the car. And this vehicle is $141,600, which is absolutely insane. More than my first house, more than my second house. But apparently there's a market for it, so it's out there. And I say all that to say this: I'm not mad at Moesha, because I'm getting a taste of her lifestyle right now, because I'm sure she drives vehicles that maybe need double and triple that. So I'm not mad at all. But then when I shot her a message and sent her a couple of pictures of the car, you know how she responded.
Probably that's okay.
she said, "I know the sticker price," and I'm like, "Ain't this about a?" So we got conflict. I'm trying to give her compliments and everything, and she gonna respond like that. So, but man, I tell you, so I'm
Y'all
with
don't
her
believe
for
me,
2
but I'm
weeks.
telling you, that woman is rich. Y'all don't believe me. Y'all think I'm just saying stuff, but all right.
Look, I get to drive like her for 2 weeks. Well, with one exception, because I got to actually drive the vehicle. She's actually riding in the back, getting a massage, eating bonbons out the little cooler and everything, and yelling at Miguel, and Miguel ain't did nothing. I treat Miguel better. Just treat him better.
Brent, all right, before you go,
Yes.
give me an R&B album,
Okay.
basically flawless from start to finish, artist and the album.
Oh, well, The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. Let's see. Oh, goodness. What's his name? Keith Sweat's first album was
somebody already put
top
that,
to
Make It
bottom.
Last Forever.
Yes. Oh, goodness. Where's some other ones? I'm a mid-condition fan, so definitely their first album was nice top to bottom. P.J. Morton, his albums tell stories, like old school albums. So I can listen to his albums top to bottom. Music Soul Child. He has some great lyricists. I think he finally got his GED, but it don't matter. But that just shows you brilliance doesn't matter if you got a GED or a degree.
Which music album?
Mm-hmm.
Which one? Which album?
Which album?
Yeah.
Flawless top to bottom?
Yeah.
Oh, the first one, Lauryn Hill.
Huh?
The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill.
What? No. You said Music Soul Child. I'm saying which
one?
Album? Yeah.
His first one is the only one that I listened to from beginning to end.
Okay.
So that's the only one I can go off of.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, that's enough. You don't have to think of everyone.
I can't think of any others off the top of my head.
That's enough. Hey, I appreciate your call.
All right, and Moesha, look, I'm going to live it up these next couple of weeks. Like my daddy had 4 snowblowers and 3 lawnmowers, so I'm living it up.
All right, Brent.
Take it easy.
All right, I appreciate the call. Now hold on, let me go back. See if I can go back to the albums that were mentioned. Oh, I went back way too far. Hold on. Keep scrolling. Okay. Marvin Gaye's Here, My Dear. I have to say, I've never listened to that entire album, so I can't really say. Marvin Gaye's I Want You. Okay. 12 Play by R. Kelly. Definitely first to last. You can listen to I can listen to that without skipping any songs, depending on what mood I'm in. No doubt. Donnell Jones, Life Goes On. Really? Just listen to it. Some of these I've never listened to. I was never a big Donnell Jones fan, so okay. Nat says, are we allowed to mention R. Kelly 12 Play? Yeah. Look, that was a good album. Even the remixes on it. Like, the album was hot, but then you had the remixes, which was hot. So, yeah. Keep Sweat, Make It Last Forever. Okay, no doubt. Somebody else said 12 Play and Make It Last Forever. Okay. And there's no wrong answer. It just, if it's for you, you know what I'm saying? If it's for you, that album that's just stacked from the first track to the last track, Confessions by Usher, that is a hot album. I want to say I can't listen to it. It might be 1 or 2 songs in there that I'm like, skip. But it is a hot album. Lauryn Hill, the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. Agreed. Hold on, I'm scrolling. Jericho wants to know, what if this is all staged like Jussie Smollett? Come on, scrolling. There was some more albums mentioned. John B. first album. I can't say that I've listened to it, so I can't say that you're wrong. Marvin Gaye, Let's Get It On. In all honesty, I've never listened to that whole album either. Pink Floyd, they're not R&B. Daryl, thank you, Daryl. That was, when I saw it, there were so many albums mentioned that I couldn't argue with, but I couldn't believe nobody said Guy's first album, which was self-titled Guy. I was like, how do you not? You talking about R&B? You gotta put Stevie Wonder, Songs in the Key of Life. I feel like Stevie Wonder, Songs in the Key of Life. You gotta put Guy's first album. I mean, there's a few other essential things, but come on, nobody put Guy's first. Thank you, Daryl, because I can still listen to that from front to, well, it's not front to back anymore. I had the tape, so boom, and then flip it. But then I got the vet, and I had the thing to do the auto flip for me, so I didn't have to flip it over. But yeah, Sierra says Stevie Wonder, Songs in the Key of Life. Mary J. Blige, Share My World. Never been a Mary J. Blige fan. I'm not saying it's not true. If anything, I would say What's the 411 was an album that because that was before I stopped liking Mary J. Blige. But you could listen, I think, to that whole first album. Aaliyah, Age Ain't Nothing But a Number. Okay. Daryl says Jodeci first album. See, now that one is questionable. Because some people didn't like they up-tempo tracks. So you would say that whole, now I can't remember. I think it started out with all the slow songs and then hit the up-tempo songs. So that first part, I don't think there's very little confusion, doubt, whatever. That first part, all the slow songs, amazing. The up-tempo, now I like them all. I can listen to Forever My Lady, the whole thing, and Diary of a Madman. I can listen to both of those, no skip. But some people I just like they slow stuff. Valerie Davis said Keith Washington. That's just an artist. What album? Dina says TLC, Crazy Sexy Cool. Okay. Yeah, that was good. That was good. I wasn't no huge TLC fan, but if you liked them, I could definitely see that. Tony Braxton. Okay. Is that the actual name of the album? I thought it was I Just Want to Sing. But Music Soul Child, I Just Want to Sing, yes. The Brothers Johnson, Strawberry Electric 22. I have to be honest, I never listened to the Brothers Johnson. I know the song is Strawberry Letter 23. But you're saying the album is Strawberry Electric 22. Hold on, I gotta look that up. I might just have to go back and listen to that. Hold on. I'm looking. The Brothers Johnson version. For their Okay, yeah, I don't think that was the name of the album. Uh, I'm not saying it's not, but I just looked it up. And that's not what they came up with. The album in 1977 was called Right on Time. Hold on, let's look at their discography. Cause that sound like a hot album. Strawberry Electric 22 sound like a hot album. But they never released an album by that name. Okay. Sorry. Fantasia, Back to Me. Okay. Michael Jackson, Off the Wall. Who can really doubt that one? Who can really doubt that one? One of the best ever. Natalie Cole, Live. I still listen to that whole thing. I'll just be in my car and then I'll be like, I want to hear some Natalie Cole, and I'll put on that, especially if I'm on a long drive. I love listening to live albums on a long drive. The Chocolate Factory, I think that's not debatable. I don't even think that's debatable. Sade, Shannon C says Sade Live. I refuse to call that woman Sade. S-A-D-E, spelled Sade. And I'm not a big fan of hers, but okay. Silk, Lose Control. No, not the whole album. There's some skips on that one for me. For me, there's some skips on that one. Bushwick Bill, The Other Level. I don't even know who Bushwick Bill is. Who is Bushwick Bill? I gotta look him up. Oh, that's rap. Yeah, no, we talking R&B. We talking R&B. That's rap. Bad by Michael Jackson. Okay. Yeah. Even though I was never a fan of that Liberian Girl. I was never a fan of that Liberian Girl song. So I always skip. But I get what you're saying. CK, 8 Ball, and MJG, they're not an R&B group. Y'all trying to throw in rap. Teddy Pendergrass's last album. You sure you're talking about his last album? I don't even know what his last album was, but you sure, Janice? I'm not saying it's not. I don't know it. I haven't heard it. I haven't listened to it. I'll have to go look it up. I will go and look it up and try to listen to it. I'm just not sure that his last album. Dave Hollister, Ghetto Hymns. Okay, all right. Again, I've never listened to the whole project. Bonita put songs in the Key of Life, Stevie Wonder. All right. The Emancipation of Me. I guess that's R&B. It's borderline pop. I guess. Nat says, this made me realize I don't listen to whole albums. I always pick and skip. I try when I used to get an album, a CD or whatever, I used to try to put it in and listen. At least one time, just listen to it all the way through. All the songs, I very rarely have I done it, and all the songs hit me like, oh, that's hot. Oh, that's hot too. Oh, that's hot. You know, some have to grow on you. And then there's some, from my perspective, that don't grow on you. And you just like, okay, I like these 4. Everything else, skip, you know. But you get that rare occasion. Or at least I thought it was rare, but people are throwing stuff in here. Again, I haven't listened to them, and I'm not necessarily judging. I guess I kind of am, you know, when I'm like, yeah, I don't know about that. But I'm not necessarily judging. I'm really more listening, because I might have to go back and give some of these projects a listen. Like somebody said, John B's first album. I don't know. I doubt that the whole project that and I'm not saying it's not true, but I doubt that I'm gonna just be able to put on John B's first project and be like, okay, that's hot. Oh, that's hot. Oh, that's hot too. Oh, John B was killing it. That's hot. Oh, that's hot too. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna probably be like, okay, he might have had 2 or 3 hits over there. You know, hits in terms of stuff I like. Everything else I'm gonna probably skip. So again, I'm not just saying it was a good album. Like, it's a no skip. Like, there are no songs on there that you would skip. Hold on, can I do this from memory? I'm sure that I can. It was Groove Me, Teddy's Jam. Oh, what was the third track? I don't think that it was I Like, but it might have been. I can't do it. I can't do it from memory. I remember it was Groove Me. It was Teddy's Jam. I want to say it was Round and Round after that. Then I Like, but I might be wrong. Let me just stop. Outkast is not an R&B group in my mind. They're more of a rap group. So, Thriller. Okay, you can't beat Thriller. Life Jennings. Okay. Babyface Whip Appeal. That's not an album. That's a song. But again, Babyface Whip Appeal is a song. It's not an album, but it was off, I believe, the Tender Lover project. And I think that was another one of those. I think I can listen to that from song 1 to however many other songs it had on it and not skip. I think I can do that with Tender Lover. Acoustic Soul, India Ari. Never listened to the whole thing. Tanika says, I'm a gospel girly. I don't know all these worldly albums. Sam Cooke, For Sentimental Reasons, is fired from back in the day. What album? We're not just saying good artists. We're not just saying a good song. I'm asking I'm going to use the term, but of course, a perfect album. You don't skip any songs. Stop it, Jerica. Stop it. Another Bad Creation, Coolin' at the Playground, was not an album that you don't skip songs. Stop it. That's not even funny. A classy one says songs in A minor, Alicia Keys. I'm not an Alicia Keys fan, so I don't know. Daryl said, I still rock that First Guy album. I got it on my phone. Yeah. And believe it or not, today, their first album, that's another one. I can listen to that one from start to finish. You know, with think it start with You Stood Me Up. I'm not even gonna try to get it because I don't remember the order of these songs. I don't remember the order. What's Going On, Marvin Gaye. Alexander O'Neal, Greatest Hits. Greatest Hits albums don't count. That's supposed to be not skipping. I'm talking about just the album. So a Greatest Hits album does not count. Attitude by Troop. I can't say that I remember the whole thing. B-Rab says Blackstreet's first album. Okay. And I'm trying to think, which one was the first one? The first one, I think was it just titled Blackstreet? It was the kind of black with gold accents. They had them on there. Had Baby Be Mine on there, but the Dave Hollister version of Baby Be Mine, Happy Home, and all of that kind of stuff. I remember that album. I remember it was hot. I remember that album. It was hot. Regina says Mary J. Blige was the 411 and Guy for me. Okay. Shahira was thinking Aaliyah. CK says both Jodeci albums started off good and the second half of the album was trash. I disagree. I disagree with you. I liked their up-tempo songs. I don't know why people didn't like their up-tempo songs, but I liked their up-tempo songs. Any Heartbreak, yeah, that one was hot, start to finish. Another one that you could go through without skipping. Classy One also says, what's the 411? Did anyone else realize? Now, look, Samuel, I believe I saw something where they say he did not say that. But I always thought he said it. I always thought he said it. Nat says the Sunset Park soundtrack. Not familiar with it at all. Not familiar. Lonzo Clark says, Forever My Lady, just the slow songs. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. 12 Play Good. I forgot about Fatma. I don't know what that means. Lenny Kravitz is not R&B. Sierra. Boyz II Men, Cooley High Harmony. Yes. I didn't even think about them. Yeah, Boyz II Men, Cooley High Harmony. Yes. Oh, CK saying that's the name of the album. Is for sentimental reasons. Okay, maybe I have to go back and listen to it. Maybe I have to go back and listen to it. Soul of a Woman, Kelly Price. Huh. Okay. I have to go back and listen to it. For real, I'm taking some of these in, and I'm gonna probably go through here and create a playlist and listen to some of these albums. And then I'll be able to say, a classy one, Soul of a Woman, a classy one was on point on that one, or a classy one was on that boy. A classy one, he or she, was on that boy S on that one. Tony first album. Hey Little Walter. They had some, I don't think, no, not for me. There was some tracks on there that I definitely skipped. Definitely some tracks on there that I skipped. Toni Braxton, her first album. Kathy Jo Wilson says Sade, Smooth Operator. Again, not a Sade fan. So somebody else mentioning Sade. The Brothers Johnson Right on Time album. Lisa and Coach ain't even thought about them in a long time. Spanish Fly. I doubt it, Jerica, but I'll go check it out. I'll go check it out. I doubt if I'm going to listen to it and not skip something. The whole collection of Anita Baker, but her first album was fire. I'm going to go back and listen. It might have been some stuff on there. Kim Moore Eberhart says Strawberry Letter 22. Who made an album called Strawberry Letter 22? Who made that album? A classy one says Aretha Franklin, Young, Gifted, and Black. Okay. Donny Hathaway, Extension of a Man. Okay. Quincy Jones, The Dude. Okay. Natalie Cole, Period. That's not an album. Prince, Musicology. Stop. I like Prince. I'm a huge Prince fan. Definitely some skipping on Musicology. Whitney Houston's first album. Okay, yeah, no doubt. No doubt about that. Another greatest hits. Greatest hits don't count. Greatest hits don't count. Hold on, I'm skipping down now because I'm so far behind. Wait a minute, I saw Jagged Edge in here. Amy Winehouse don't count. It's R&B. Amy Winehouse wasn't R&B. She was more bluesy, kind of rocky, not R&B. Rump Shaker was, I don't think, an album, and it was hip hop. Denise Williams is another greatest hits. The Juice soundtrack. I have to admit, I didn't listen to it. Is it rap or R&B? The New Jack City soundtrack. It was some hip hop in the New Jack City soundtrack, so it kind of don't count. But it was hot. That was the first CD I ever bought was the New Jack City soundtrack. Boomerang and both of those are hot, but they both got hip hop on them, so I wouldn't consider them an R&B album. Bobby Brown, Don't Be Cruel. I'm trying to think mentally, just go through the whole album. Were there no skips? Any Loose Ends album. And I'm not hating on Bushwick Bill. He's just not an R&B artist. Ken says, I said Jaheim, the album when he was standing in the doorway. I don't know. DeWanda says The Deal. What album? Al Green's I'm Still in Love with You. Maybe I don't know. Some of y'all understood the assignment. Vernon says the Brothers Johnson had a song called Light Up Tonight. Had an album called Light Up Tonight. Had a song called Treasure on it, a good slow dance song. Okay, that was good information. Gap Band. That's just a group. The album. But that's okay, because I got to get out of here. Those were some good albums. Shahira, the Love Jones soundtrack. Would you say that's completely an R&B album? Is that an R&B album? Pamela says soundtrack shouldn't count because there's multiple musical artists on the album. Soundtrack, I kind of agree. That's why, New Jack City was hot. The Boomerang soundtrack was hot. But, I kind of didn't count them. They got hip hop on them. But some albums were soundtracks, which was mainly just by one artist. But I kind of agree with you, Pamela. Soundtracks kind of shouldn't count. I'll be sure in effect mode. I'm trying to think back to it. I think I skipped some stuff. on that one. Did you see my comment about December being related to Wyatt? No, I didn't. I'm sorry. I've been trying to breeze through these and look at the other stuff. No, I didn't. I didn't know that he was related to Wyatt. Hold on. Was he actually related to Wyatt, or are you just saying he was related? I don't know. But if he actually was, I didn't know. Sam Smith in The Lonely Hour. Who was Sam Smith? Vernon says, I disagree. I think soundtracks should count. It's one album. But here's why I'm a little back and forth. Because you can put together a lot of artist songs to make a soundtrack. But then what artist do you attribute that to? Because I'm kind of trying to attribute it to an artist. Like Stevie Wonder. He made a perfect album. Stevie Wonder made a perfect album. A group of producers and executives came together and gathered all of these people together, and together they made an album with a whole lot of good songs on it. See, that's, you know what I'm saying, that's the difference to me. I understand why. Jerica says, not being shady. Okay. No, I didn't know they were related. I liked December. I like Wyatt. So, and you know, I didn't like it. Ron says, who is December? December, I knew him from calling the radio station. He had a kind of, his personality was kind of, or at least the things that he would say on the radio, I always felt like were intended to elicit, you know, a shock, you know, response. You know, he was, Sarah Palin is the sexiest woman in the world. So he was a caller. He tragically passed away. If I recall, he tragically passed away in an accident one night. I think they say he was on his way home from the casino. He worked up there at the casino in Lawrenceburg, Indiana. And but I always thought he was a good dude. I always thought December was a good dude. They think he said a lot of stuff for shock value. But no, I had no idea that they were related. No idea that they were related. And I remember when, you know, we kind of got word that he passed away, I was, you know, really kind of taken aback. Like, whoa, you know how it is. You know somebody or know of somebody. You've talked to them. Because, you know, I used to screen calls. And so me and December used to kind of talk and laugh and joke a little bit. Like, we wasn't buddies. You know what I'm saying? I never went to his house or nothing like that. But, you know, we talked and chatted and whatnot on the phone. Met him a few times, you know, at events and stuff like that. And he always seemed like a good dude. But, yeah, no, I had no idea they were related. So, but when we got word that he had passed away, that was kind of sad. Shannon says then Quincy Jones cheated. Yeah, Quincy Jones cheated. Rapture by Anita Baker. I had to go and listen to the whole thing. He was called bad names many, many times for his perspectives. He was. Black Lion says, I got to meet December once. I have a video on YouTube when I met him, and we talked for a while. Vernon says, I like December. He seemed like a good guy. I mourned his passing at the time. Yeah. Child support used to hate to see him coming. Yeah. He always talked about how his baby mamas wasn't getting no child support from him. I always thought he was kind of funny. And, you know, the way that he presented his stuff was for shock value. Yeah, December loved his white women. He loved his white women. He always pointed that out. And again, how much of that was character and how much of that was actually him, because I didn't know him personally, I don't know. So I always just assumed, you know, it was some mixture of character and him. And, you know, yeah. He always seemed like he was all right to me. Sierra's posting a story about December. But no, I did not know that he was Wyatt's cousin. And, okay. I could see it, though. I could see it. And I also remember, you know, towards the end of you know, knowing him or knowing of him, he began talking about boxing. I remember that. And I remember him calling one day, saying he was, in his 50s? He was 50 or 50-something. And he was saying that, you know, he had started boxing. And he was like, you know, you think you this, but you trying to go, you know, do a 3-minute round ain't no joke. And so, yeah, he had taken up boxing. And he was realizing that it was difficult. So, yeah. Yeah, I remember December. I always liked him, like I said. I've heard there are very few people who have called that radio station that I had negative views of, that I can, really think of. Now, there's a lot of people that, felt not too positive about me. But most of the people I had, yes, he was a semi-pro football player as well. Yeah. Most of the people, though, that I interacted with, it was never, it was bad in terms of, just let me on the air. Stop asking me questions. I ain't got to tell you what I want to talk about. Those type of interactions. But for the most part, I still never took a lot of that stuff personal. Let me see. Brent Beard, I think his name was really December. I think his name was December Lamb, if I remember correctly. December Lamb. I used to think that wasn't his real name either. I asked him one day, and he said that was his real name. Now, again, I didn't know the brother, but he said that was his real name, and that, his name was December Lamb. I was like, oh, interesting. Interesting. But, yeah, no, he was all right with me. I'm trying to think, who did I really have some animosity towards? The Innovator, I had animosity towards him just in the sense that he was so annoying. But I always felt like he's so annoying because he has a mental problem. And I always tried to not be mad at him. But it was exceptionally difficult to not. Edward says it's on his headstone, September. I don't know what you mean by that. Can you clear up what you mean by that? So yeah, the Innovator it was difficult dealing with him. Like, he wasn't saying, oh, I want to fight him or anything like that. What about Cleveland? I never had no animosity to, again, understanding people having animosity to me doesn't necessarily mean I have animosity towards them. Again, if y'all knew how many people called and complained about me, you know what I'm saying. Edward says that's his real name. What's his real name? You're saying September is his real name? Edward, is that what that's what you're saying, is that September is his real name? Tanika says the Innovator. I don't remember him. The Innovator was a guy. He actually used to call into the radio station. He always talked about how to end violence and racism and everything. And in his mind, the way to end racism and violence and everything was to change the color of the money. Change the color of the money. Which made no sense. He talked about how he took a cutout of a gun, and the cardboard cutout of a gun to the city hall, and they threw him out or something. He had mental issues. And then he would just call, just like he had it on speed dial, and he would call, and the phone would ring, and I would pick it up, and you already been on. You can't go back on. Well, I just need to tell them they need to change the color of the money. All right, I'll let them know they need to change the color of the money. Thank you. Hang up. And as soon as you hang up, the next line ring, 12:30 the buzz. Oh yeah, this is the Innovator. I need to let them know about the color of the... Bro, you already been on. You can't go back on. I can't put you back on. You already been on. I just need to tell them. Okay, I'll let them know. Hang up, and as soon as you hang up, the next phone line would ring. 12:30 the buzz. Oh, that's the innovator. Bro, you can't go back on. Oh, you gonna let me on? No, I'm not gonna let you on. But I appreciate you calling. Hope you have a great day. Hang up. As soon as you hang up, the phone will ring again. Oh, this the innovator. And what can you do? You know what I'm saying? You can't not answer the phone. And he would do that literally. That would happen. But Terrence used to be so mad. Terrence wanted to fight him so bad because he would do it for like 2 or 3 hours straight. And we would be so happy when we had 4 lines because now innovator can't call in. He can't call in. He can't. Line 5 don't just keep ringing, keep ringing, keep ringing, keep ringing, keep ringing. And then you have to answer it. It's the innovator. And it's ringing again. It's the innovator. Oh, my goodness. You know, like I said, for 2, sometimes 3 or 4 hours straight. And you got to answer. You got to answer. It's a talk show. You got to answer. And we didn't have, I don't know if they do now, but we didn't have caller ID. We couldn't block people, none of that kind of stuff. It was just, it's a light flashing. And you see it, you gotta pick it up. So, yeah. Yeah. Sierra says, December James Lamb. Edward is still saying September is his real name. Everybody else is saying December. He told me his real name was December. So Edward, if your understanding is that his name was September, then I guess you have a right to have that understanding. Ken says, I was the guy that called Lincoln's show about my property tax after I moved to Virginia. I was supposed to be exempt from property tax. I'm a disabled veteran, 100%. I don't ever remember that call happening. I don't remember that call. I wonder whatever happened to the Clock to Doom caller. Yeah, he was out of Chicago. He started once Sister Speak, because at one point, Sister Speak was on multiple stations. But being on WOL, I think they had satellite radio or something. They were on satellite radio. So then they were heard all over the country. And Brother X, I believe was his name. Not Endure X from here, but this guy's name I think was Brother X. And yeah, he said, we was on the Clock to Doom. The Clock to Doom. And when he said it was so much, like he was convinced that we were on the Clock to Doom. Like you couldn't convince him that we wasn't. And it was something about the conviction with which he said it that I was like, oh, that's definitely a clip that I will be able to play whenever. The innovator sound like Gleno? No, nothing like Gleno. He just sound like a crazy person. Talking crazy. Like he never said anything that made much sense. So yeah, he was just a crazy person. One of my favorite callers was Lawrence from Texas. I didn't have a problem with Lawrence. He was annoying, but I didn't have a problem. I like talking to anybody. And it was so easy to just call him out on nonsense. So, he was an easy caller for me. Oh, Edward says, my bad, it's December. I put wrong name in. I thought so. But that was why I asked you, because I'm like, are you sure that's what you're saying? And then you double down on it. But now you corrected it, and you can't beat that. And we can't forget about Glenn Washington Williams. He loved to talk politics up and down the dial. Glenn was annoying. I liked Glenn, but Glenn was annoying. Glenn had an overblown sense of self-importance. That's just the truth. But I still liked him, But the truth is the truth. When you really believe that the only reason that people listen to a show is to hear you call. Hey, come on, bro. Bro, really? That don't even make sense. But other than that, you know, I liked going back and forth with Glenn. Because he did not like the fact that I wasn't 100% in the tank for Barack Obama. Yeah, Black Lion. No, nobody sounded like Gleno, but Gleno. Y'all know I'd be tempted to do my little impersonations. I'd be tempted to do my little impersonations, but I'm going to resist the urge to do my Gleno. I'm going to resist the urge to do my Gleno. Would you go back to the Buzz when Lincoln retires? They would have to pay me. They would have to pay me. Yeah. I mean, I would do it for the money. I wouldn't go back making what I was making or close to what I was making. And I very seriously doubt that they would want to pay anyone anywhere close to what they're paying Lincoln. So, no. Daryl says, Glenn was my dude. We had a great conversation just before he died. He was comforting me when me and my wife found out she had breast cancer. He was a good dude. He was a good dude. So I'm not saying he wasn't a good dude. He did have an overblown sense of self-importance in this talk space. Y'all know he used to come on my show like, I move the crowd. I'm the only reason people here because I move the crowd. Ain't no MC. You ain't moving no crowd in. You know what I'm saying? You a caller. But that'd be like a dude. We used to go back and forth till 2, 3, o'clock in the morning. Like, I mean, for real, legit. It'd be 3 o'clock in the morning, and we just going back and forth. I tried to get him on. I tried to put together a show. And they couldn't do it. But I tried to put together a show. Glenn and Ken. Ken and Glenn. Glenn Washington or Williams. I wasn't ever sure. Glenn Williams, Washington Williams. And Ken Anderson. And I actually had him come in the studio one day and do the show with me, kind of to show management, like, this could be a show, like, it could work if they both have equal power. Like, you can't let one, like, oh, you in control of the show, and the other one, because that ain't neither one of them gonna get it. They both have to have equal power, so you can't tell him, shut up, it's I'm talking, and it's my show. But if they both had equal power on a show, put them on there, and let them talk. And that would be a good show. And I think Ken couldn't do it. I wanted it to be a daily show, Monday through Friday. And at first they was both down. I had talked to them both, and they was both like, yeah, I'll do it. Yeah, I'll do it. And I had explained to them, ain't really no money in there. It's like $10 an hour. And y'all really only gonna be doing maybe 2 hours. So y'all gonna make like $20, And they was both like, I ain't doing it for the money. I'm not doing it for the money. So I was like, okay, cool. And that was when I brought them in, and they did it, and it went great. I had to be there to kind of run the show because that was at a time when they didn't want no outside people hosting. So, I couldn't just say, hey, come in and y'all do the show. I had to be there to host it. But I talked very little. I really just let them run the show. And then I think Ken said he couldn't do it because it kind of conflicted with his schedule. And Glenn kind of couldn't do it because it conflicted with his schedule. And then I talked about, well, maybe y'all can just do a weekend show. And then management was like, well, we really don't want to bring on him. And I'm like, okay, all right. So then it all fell apart. But I tried to get them in. I did my best. It just didn't work out. Hold on. Somebody said something about Inez. Who said something about Inez? I saw something about Inez. Emanuel, you remember Charles from Norwood? I do. I remember I was on when Barack Obama was getting inaugurated and racist Charles was on. And he talked about how, you know, he never thought he'd see a black man in office. And I want to say, did he cry? Or at the very least, he was like, you know, I'm changing my mind on all of this stuff. And I don't know that I'm certain he's dead by now. Because, you know, he was not a man in good health. But he was definitely a racist. No, I remember Charles. Tanika said, every time I think of Glenn, I tear up. He was my friend. We talked off air. Glenn was a good dude. Please share my story about the guy that cussed Lincoln out every day on Lincoln voicemail. I think he still does it. Lincoln said something one day, not too long ago, that made me think that guy still does it. He said something about his voicemail, and, you know, are you that? I thought maybe you was that guy who calls me every day and leave that message on my voicemail or something. So I think that guy still does it. He calls Lincoln every day after his show. And I want to say he calls him multiple times, and every message start with, "You dumb motherfucker," and he just go in on whatever it is that Lincoln talked about or whatever it is that Lincoln said, and it's every day. And Lincoln be like trying to race, like he listened to his voicemail ready to delete for when he hear that dude's voice, so he cannot hear that dude call him a dumb motherfucker, you know. And I think you have to hit, or at least at that time, you had to hit like *D. And then, you know, Lincoln be sitting back listening to his messages. He used to get a lot of messages. And he'd be sitting back listening to his messages. You know, Bernadette calling in, talk about how the Hebrew Israelites is controlling her mind. And, what was her name? Tina. No, not Tina. Maybe Tina. But people leave Lincoln crazy messages. And he would get comfortable, and he'd be listening to his messages, you know, boom, hit pound or whatever for the next message, and he listening, boom, hit pound for the next message, dumb motherfucker, and he hurry up and try to *D. I'm like, who are you hurrying up against? Just, it's okay. And then he started sending me messages, and I would play them loudly. Oh. And he would want to delete them. Oh. He would want to delete my messages, but I would have them on. Like, bro, these are my messages. You do yours, I do mine. Oh. He mentally, he messes with Lincoln. You couldn't believe it. You just, it's so funny. It was. I'm not there anymore, but it was so funny. That Brent said Inez came with data to show you that your viewership went up when she called in. Can you do the Harriet Tubman leaving Black MAGA impersonation again? I don't know what you mean. I don't know what that means. Just cleared my throat because Gleno was mentioned. Gleno. Oh, I had to fight the urge. It's hard to not do the Gleno impersonation. It's hard to not do it. Oh, Garrison was funny. Garrison was actually, I was always sad. Garrison always made me sad. Because I felt like Garrison also had some mental problems. And he felt like this terrible victim. Like everything everybody said was picking on him and all of that kind of stuff. And, you know, he had some hang up about being light skinned and all that kind of stuff. I always just kind of felt sad with Garrison, even though there was some gems in there as well. But yeah, I always felt sad with Garrison. Is the innovator dead? No, the innovator be on Lincoln's show on his lot. Eric Benford is the innovator. Eric Benford, the dude that be posting the crazy stuff in Lincoln's chat. That is the innovator. He's not dead. He is not dead. He's very much alive and still very much has some sort of mental issue. He is not dead. I see when I read his writing and stuff like that, I see the crazy. Yes, I can still see the chat in the Lincoln Ware show. Even though I'm blocked. But I'm actually working on that. I'm working on the blocked piece because I shouldn't be blocked. So I'm working on that. I talked to the general manager. I don't want to call corporate. But I might end up having to call corporate because I shouldn't be blocked. I'm not going to get all into it, but I shouldn't be blocked. So, yeah, I had a conversation with the general manager, trying to give him a little bit of time to figure everything out. Hopefully he figures everything out, comes to the appropriate conclusion. The only appropriate conclusion is you shouldn't be blocked. You're not using abusive language towards anybody. You're not stalking or harassing anyone. You're not any of that kind of stuff. You shouldn't be blocked just because you said something that somebody didn't like. That's not the reason why people should be blocked from the page. So, yeah. Don't call corporate. I'll call corporate. If I need to call corporate, I will. I don't want to. I'm hoping that the general manager just says, you know what, Emanuel, I know you're right. I know, you know what I'm saying, what would he say? You just trolling or whatever, and you probably shouldn't be blocked. I'm gonna tell them to unblock you, and then we can just move on from there. Hopefully, that's what he says. And then I'll be like, thank you, Mr. General Manager. And that'll be the end of that. But if not, you gotta do what you gotta do. Oh. But no, I did. I used to play that dude loud. Lincoln would get mad. I locked my door. But you could hear through walls. And I would turn it on. And he would just call and leave me messages until the time ran out. And if he wasn't finished saying what he had to say, he'd call right back and leave another message. But the whole thing was about how dumb Lincoln was and how Lincoln was a sellout and how Lincoln was all of these horrible things. And I don't know why I did those things. What caller slept with Lincoln's mother? That would be allegedly Gleno. That would be allegedly Gleno. Allegedly. I wasn't there. I can't say what happened. He said it happened. And I can't say that it didn't. That did make me delete that promo, though. I say I don't know why I did these things, but I do know why I did these things. As I sat back and thought about why I did these things, it became really clear to me why I did a number of the things that I did, and that I was maybe not justified, but I felt pushed to do those things. Part of it is it was just funny. I like funny. I like funny. And if something is funny, it's funny. People make jokes about me. If it's funny, it's funny. Don't make no jokes about me, please. If it's funny, it's funny. So, yeah, if you the butt of the joke and it's funny, technically I'm not even laughing at you. I'm laughing at the joke. And there were a few other reasons. But no, it was Gleno who said that him and Lincoln's mother were lovers. That was his wording. That was his wording. Yes, Jerica, it's Eric. And yes, Eric does definitely seem to have issues. Garrison once said to you, there you go, being arrogant with your ignorance. Did he? Garrison was a member of my church when I was little. I remember I sat next to him once and he opened his wallet and there was a Playboy Club card in his wallet. But I liked Garrison. I mean, I met Garrison a few times, talked to Garrison, of course, again, screen calls, talked to Garrison. And when Garrison was, I don't know the right way to say some of this stuff, so I don't mean any of this stuff that I say to be offensive, unless I actually mean it to be offensive, but I really don't. When Garrison was normal, I don't like using that term. When he wasn't going through whatever it is that he went through, he was one of the nicest guys. He was one of the nicest guys. Nothing would beat Elijah saying he had thoughts of being a woman. I missed that. I know that happened, but yeah, I missed that. Ron says, I know Eric Benford. I didn't know he was the innovator. Yeah. Tanika says, apologize and they'll unblock you. I'm not apologizing. I don't have anything to apologize for. I don't have anything to apologize for. If I had something to apologize for, I don't have a problem apologizing. If I did you wrong, I will apologize. If I ain't did you wrong, I'm not apologizing just to say I apologize. That's what Lincoln didn't want to talk to Brett about this morning. I don't know. I didn't listen to him today. Well, that's not true. I listened to a few minutes on my drive in. I listened to him just for a few minutes. But then once I got in, I couldn't listen to him. I was too busy. Him and Bernadette be posting some crazy stuff that makes absolutely no sense. Yeah, Bernadette got some issues. Bernadette got some issues. And I like Bernadette. Again, I'm going to stop saying it because there's very few of those people that I don't like. All right? But I like Bernadette. But clearly, when you think that people are controlling your brain, sending secret messages to you, controlling what you do and, all of that kind of stuff, there's something going on there. And I knew Alicia Israel. I liked Alicia Israel. I knew Alicia Israel. I really did like you. But I never saw anything that led me to believe that he had the power of telepathic control over people. No, you went in and took all your clothes off because you have some sort of a mental condition that makes you believe that. That man telepathically told you to take your clothes off. Could you imagine that? You go to somebody, I got this book, rare, I guess, book that you want. And you're like, oh yeah, you can come on over. I'll charge you $20 for it or whatever the cost was. You go in, you're like, all right, where the book? And they like, okay, let me go in the other room and get it. And then they come out butt naked. What? in my mind, it would take me a moment to process. And I don't care who she is. I don't care how fine she is, or how mid of the road she is, or how unfine she is, based on whatever my opinion of fine is. It wouldn't matter if you come out butt naked. It's going to take me a second to process. You went in for a book. You were fully clothed. You went in the other room for a book. And now you standing in front of me butt naked. No book, no nothing. You just standing there butt naked. And then he said he just got up and ran out the door, which is the wisest thing. That's a wise thing to do. You got something that's going on for you to believe that to be the case. And I remember when he came into the studio and she tried to confront him about that, or whichever way it went. They had a little confrontation about it, and Lincoln was kind of recapping what happened. And Alicia was like, yes, that's exactly what happened. And she was like, yes, that's exactly what happened. And Lincoln asked him, well, what did you do? And Alicia said, I got up and I ran out the room. I ran out the house. Because, basically I ain't getting caught up in no nonsense. And he asked Bernadette, is that what happened? He said, yeah, he got up and ran out the house. So they was both 100% on the story. And then she like, but he told me, and like, did he say that to you? Mentally, he told me I had to take off all my clothes. And I think he said that he had to have sex with her in order for him to become a part of their religion. And he's like, I never said that. And she, no, you telepathically, you told me that. And he like, I never said that. I never said anything like that. I never did anything to lead you to believe that. And she kept saying, he said it telepathically. And I think Lincoln kept asking her, did he ever tell you that? And she was like, he said it telepathically. So he didn't use words. And then she just ran out the building, and she was screaming, I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy. And she ran out the door and left, screaming, I'm not crazy. And I was like, that's a sure sign that you might be crazy. That's a sign that you might be crazy. But I was a little sad about that. I remember that interaction, and I'm like, she really believes this to be true. Who was the caller band that called about Lincoln and his son? I don't know. I don't know anything about that. Lincoln walking in on y'all thinking y'all was talking about him having a little date. Yes. I was so innocent in that. I was so innocent, but he was so mad. He was so mad. So Cleo is Lincoln's daddy. I remember one day Lincoln came in. I know I told y'all this story. Lincoln came in. He was so mad at me. And I hadn't said or done anything. He was just coming in for the day. And he was so mad at me. You almost got me into a fight. I'm like, what did I do to get you out of? I haven't done. What are you talking about? He talking about he was at White Castle. And it was the way he was telling the story, like it was still happening. He was still so mad. But he apparently was at White Castle, and the person at the window recognized him. He had ordered coffee, and as they gave him his coffee, they said, what? Here's your coffee, or good morning, or whatever. Lincoln, oh. I was going to throw my coffee in their face. I just wanted to throw that coffee right in their face. And I'm like, bro, it's Lincoln, oh. It's just that don't mean nothing. If you know he not your daddy, then why do that bother you so? And if he is your daddy, why do that bother you so? Either way, why would you want to throw hot coffee in somebody's face because they called you Lincoln-o? but he was heated. Like he was mad at me. You got people thinking that's my daddy. And I'm like, I'm not the one who said that he was your mama's lover. Why are you mad at me? Because he told Jay that he and your mama were lovers back when you was little or before you was born or whatever. Why are you mad at me? How do I get the blame for any of this? I didn't make Gleno say that he and your mama was lovers. I didn't make Jay ask him because Jay did provoke that. Jay did provoke that. Jay, I don't remember exactly, but Jay brought that out, and I had nothing to do with it. Oh, I didn't mean to do the fingers. I had nothing to do with it. I was minding my own business, running the board. Gleno calls in, he and Jay. Were they at a remote? I don't think they were at a remote. I don't remember exactly. But Jay was saying something to him, and he said something about Lincoln I think they were at a remote, and he said something about Lincoln as a boy or something like that. And I think Jay was just kind of picking with him, like, oh, how do you know Lincoln as a boy? And da-da-da-da-da. And he was like, oh, I knew his mother, back when he was a little boy and whatever. And Jay's like, oh, so, something, and, kind of picking with him, like, oh, you knew his mother. So did you and his mother ever have an England? We were lovers. And I was like, wow. Yeah, we were lovers. When he was a boy, we were lovers. And I'm like, why? Why would he say that? And Lincoln was there. And Jay was like, wow. And I'm like, so all of that happened, nothing to do with me, but I'm the one who get blamed for it. All I did was make a promo. How do you not memorialize that moment? And I don't care what you say, Emanuel. I am not Lincoln's daddy. Like, okay, I never said you was his daddy. I just be minding my own business. I know you're not my daddy. I never said, why am I getting blamed for this? Lincoln, I'm not your damn daddy. I know you're not my daddy. And Garrison, are you my daddy? I'm like, what? Glenn was hitting everything in Cincinnati when he was little. I don't know how I ever got any of the blame for that, except I made the promo. That's it. I just made a promo. I just made a promo. Oh. I don't know. I just be minding my own business most of the time. Just looking for the funny. I just be looking for the funny. That's it. If there is funny to be found, I'm looking for it. I'm going to find it, hopefully, and then highlight it so that everybody can enjoy the funny. I was cracking up. Or I was cracking up when I was making the promo. I was cracking up. Who says that? Who says that? So, but yeah, I don't know how I got blamed. But yeah, he was mad at me. He wanted to fight me because he wanted to throw coffee in that person's face because they called him Lincoln. See, it is still funny to me. How can I just ignore it when it was fresh? That is what? Almost 20 years ago. Oh, and it still cracks me up. It still cracks me up. The sight See, I blame y'all for this. I had thought about this in a long time. The sight of that man running down the hall full speed to hit the dump button because a promo is running. Oh. And because I hear him coming, I just stick my foot in front of the door so he can't open it. Oh. 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 How could I not? How could I not? Do you not see the joy that I'm experiencing right now off of something that happened 15 to 20 years ago? Just imagine the joy that I was filled with at the time. And who would want to deprive their fellow human being of such joy? Oh, my stomach hurt. Oh boy. My stomach hurt. But I didn't do any of it. I didn't do it. I just made a promo. Whew. Yes, we did. We had HR at the station. But what were they to do? What did I do wrong? I didn't say nothing about his mama. I had nothing but respect for Lincoln and his mama's relationship. So I didn't say nothing about his mama. I didn't say nothing about his mom. I didn't say nothing about Clino. I didn't say nothing about none of them. I didn't do anything. So what they gonna do? What is HR gonna do for me? You can't laugh. What? What? What could they do? There's nothing that HR could do to me because I didn't do anything. It happened on the air. Believe it or not, a part of my job. You know, I got hired full-time at the Buzz on the strength of one thing. On the strength of one thing. I could create good promos. When I first started at the radio station, this is a true story. When I first started at the radio station, I was part-time, right? And they didn't want to hire me full-time, but I kind of wanted a full-time job. So, you know, oh my goodness. And so I said, let me do this. I need to show that I'm valuable. And this radio station doesn't have any, because I listen to radio. And all the radio stations, there are promos. All a promo is a promotional commercial. It's a commercial. It's called promo because it's free and it promotes the station. So this radio station has no promos. Like, we have all of this content going on, but there's nothing playing where you're like, you know, if you missed the Lincoln Ware show, here's what you missed. And then you get a little clip from the Lincoln Ware show that's, you know, thought-provoking or funny or, you know, whatever. Something that makes you then want to say, don't miss the Lincoln Ware show Monday through Friday, whatever. That's the essence of a promo. And you make a little donut, you put the beginning, you put the ending, and then you take a little clip. And I remember when Ron Twitty was indicted, and we carried Joe Dieter's press conference live. I wasn't full-time, but I happened to be there. So we carried Joe Dieter's press conference live. And, you know, however many counts, you know, Ron got indicted on, we carried that. And then, of course, people talked about it. And I was sitting there, and I'm like, we're carrying this. People are talking about it. People are interested in this. So let me do this. Nobody asked me. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to make a promo. And I did just that. I made a promo, and I basically took the clips of Joe Dieter's, not even saying what he did, just Joe Dieter saying, count one. and then he would say whatever. Count 2, and then he would say whatever. Count 3, and then he would say whatever. However many counts it was. And in between, Joe Dieter saying count 1, count 2, count 3, I took clips of people responding to Joe Dieter's announcement of the indictment, and I stuck it in there. If you listen to Mr. Lincoln Ware show, you missed, then Joe Dieter's count 1. And then this lady, we are not going to put up with this. Count 2. It's a shame what they doing to that man. They ought to know about count 3. This is racism at its highest point. Boom, boom, boom. Catch the Buzz or the Lincoln Ware show, whatever it was, Monday through Friday, whatever. And they liked it. And my thing was, this is the stuff we should be doing. And at the time, Lincoln was the program director. I think this is the stuff that we should be doing on a regular basis. We should be doing this regularly. So I went to Lincoln and I said, Lincoln, here's what, I can do this on a regular basis. And you can't? And that's great. But I'm not going to do it on a regular basis as a part-time employee. So I need to be hired full-time. And if you hire me full-time, this level of creativity, among other things, is what I bring to the table. And I got to talk to the general manager. Okay. And he went and talked to the general manager. The general manager asked me, let me hear the promo. Like, you ain't been listening to the station. You ain't hear the promo. I play the promo. And he's like, that's great. And you can do this on a regular basis. Yes. He's like, okay, well, you're hired full-time. I'm like, okay, cool. Boom. And so I became a full-time employee, benefits, the whole nine. So, okay, great. So I was hired on the strength of, you're going to take our content. I was hired full-time, made full-time on the strength of, you're going to take our content, repurpose it, create promotional materials for us to use, basically so that we can sound like, a real radio station that runs different things and whatnot. So all of that to say, making that promo was my job. I got hired to do that. So if something funny happened, I made a promo out of it. When Glenn O was asleep, when Lincoln went to him, I don't know if people remember that. Lincoln picked up the phone, and Lincoln, Glenn-O. And you hear nothing. Glenn-O. And then Lincoln, I know he's there. I can hear him snoring. Glenn-O. And then Glenn-O, yes, Mr. Ware, yes. You know what I mean? I'm gonna go to the Walmart and then and Lincoln's just cracking up because of course he was asleep. He come out of his sleep talking about, I guess, whatever he was dreaming about. Of course that had to be a promo. I can hear him snoring. Of course that had to be a promo. And have a choice. Something like that happens, it's a promo. Something deep happens, it's a promo. Stuff that ain't enough to be a promo. Like, John Cranley, did you or did you not give the mayor the finger on council? Well, yes or no? Yes. The answer is yes. Boom, sound clip. It's not a promo. So now every time I got something, so when people don't want to answer the question, but I know the answer is yes, yes, the answer is yes. Yes, that's the sound clip. I'm gonna play that. That's my job. That's my job. So why be mad at me because I'm doing my job? What's HR gonna say? Emanuel, don't do your job well anymore. It hurts people's feelings. Come on. I gotta do my job. I I got to do my job. So, yeah, I don't know. I got blamed for a lot of stuff I shouldn't have got blamed for. But some of that stuff was funny. Y'all, I got to get out of here. It's after 6 o'clock. It is after 6 o'clock. Y'all still got me up in here. But yeah, no, I am. I'm working on getting my ban lifted. And I still won't comment, very much in the chat. There's a few elements I don't necessarily want to go into, but there's a few elements of me being banned that I don't think are right. And I just hope they do the right thing and then I don't have to go further. Because if I'm forced, and they would be forced, if I'm forced to go the route of calling corporate, I know a few people in corporate. And some stuff happens on that live that I can guarantee you corporate would not be happy with. I can guarantee you that things happen on that live that corporate would not be happy with. And I don't think that anybody wants corporate coming into the live monitoring the fun. But if I have to point out some things that probably shouldn't happen on a regular basis, then so be it. Jericho says he said his daughter cannot ban people. Okay. People can say what they want to say, but I know what I know. And I don't just say stuff just to say it. People should already know this stuff. I don't just say stuff to say it. I say stuff that I can prove. But none of this ever has to be mentioned. Just do the right thing. Just do the right thing. And anybody who, let's say they don't like the stuff that people say, everybody has the right to block people. So if you don't like somebody saying it, boom, you block them, you don't see their comments. But there should not be some third party blocking people because they don't like what the person said. And I don't mean blocking people from seeing their comments, blocking people from the station's page. There should not be some third party blocking people from the station's page because they didn't like something that you said. That's wrong. It's inappropriate. And hopefully they just do the right thing. I'm not asking much. Just do the right thing. Do the right thing. Do the right thing. That's not that hard. Jericho says, I asked her to be on standby to block the racists who came in the room today, and Lincoln said she cannot block folks. I won't comment on that. But again, I have had a conversation with the general manager. And I know him. He's a nice guy. He's a good dude. He don't want no issues or nothing like that. He just want everybody to be happy and people to advertise on the station. That's it. He want good shows and advertising because he's the general manager, and that's all he want. The general manager don't want no headaches. I know him well enough to know. Let me say this. If all of the times that people called on me, one of the first things that he would do, because he's a fairly fair guy, one of the first things that he do is he come to you and have a conversation, right? So let's say, for example, I was still on the radio station and my wife had access to my Facebook page, which then gives her access to the Buzz Facebook page. And my wife is on there blocking people because she don't like what they say. One of the first things the general manager gonna do is come to me and say, yo, Emanuel, is your wife blocking people? Because I heard your wife is blocking people. And if I'm, so prone to lying, because that's what I do, I lie. And I'm going to probably say, no, my wife ain't blocking nobody. Knowing that she is, my wife be blocking people, and then I'm going to probably tell my wife, oh, somebody done told that you blocking people, so now you got to stop blocking people. I know who told. He told me who told. I know who it is, but so now you can't block people. And my wife is going to say, okay, from now on, when I block people, you can just say you blocked them. Yeah, that's what we do. When you block them, you just tell me who you block, and then I say I blocked them. But if anybody asks, then, I just say, you can't block nobody. Yeah. I know how the whole game gets played. I'm hip to it. I know how the game goes. But I'm not asking for anybody or anything to happen to anybody or people access to be or none of that kind of stuff. All I'm saying is, I shouldn't be blocked. Just do the right thing. Just do the right thing. That's it. And that's not a hard ask. It don't call for nobody to swallow no pride or nothing. Just somebody goes in. Y'all know how to block people. Somebody goes in and unblock. Problem solved. Corporate don't have to be called. People don't have to question questionable actions by people and questionable words by people and questionable drinks by people and all of that kind of stuff. It just all goes away. Or, maybe you don't. And then nothing goes away because, maybe corporate says, look, I don't know what you thought we was, but we might have had standards back when you was here, but we got rid of them when you left. We don't have them anymore. We don't care how we're represented in the online space. We don't care what's being promoted, how it's being promoted. We don't care about none of that stuff. We don't care nothing about nothing. And then I'll be like, wow, I'm shocked. I thought as a publicly traded corporation that y'all would care something about the way that y'all are being represented in the digital social media space. But you guys have turned over a new leaf. So, but just doing the right thing is the most simple thing. Oh, somebody said, I thought your wife told you to just let it go. She did. And I hadn't even thought about it. But an incident happened not too long ago that made me rethink that. I was cool being blocked because I don't care. I don't care. And I was just, whatever, it is what it is. Again, I can still see it. You know what I'm saying? I can still see it. But I saw something. And I said, this can't go on. This can't go on. And sometimes, this is going to make it sound deeper than it is. It's not this deep. But sometimes somebody had to take a stand to stop other injustices from happening. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I got a ticket for going, whatever, getting caught by that speed camera. It ain't that big of a deal. I just paid the ticket and I won't go by that speed camera no more. It ain't that big of a deal. I know it's a speed camera right there. I know they ticketing people for going, the speed limit is 25 and you'll get a ticket for going 26. They got me. Ain't that big of a deal. I just won't go back down that street. And you just let it go. And then you notice, wait, they doing that to a whole lot of people. I don't know that I like that. They shouldn't be doing that to a whole lot of people. Now let's get that speed camera taken down. Because they're misusing it. They're misusing it. I didn't mind getting the ticket and paying the ticket. But now that I see that it's just being abused because nobody's challenging it, now I have to challenge it. I'm still not planning on going down that street. I don't have to go down that street. But that camera got to go. Because they're misusing it. And if I don't say nothing, nobody will say anything, and it'll just continue to be misused. I saw something. And it made me say, I could be blocked and whatever. But somebody's misusing something. And I can't just sit back and just let the misuse go on. So, Twin?
What's up, player?
Hey, how you doing?
Watching this Pope stuff, whatever, carrying his body or something.
What?
Watching this Pope Inferno or something, man, carrying his body. I woke up to.
Oh.
It took me a nap. I thought you was off air, man.
I am.
You working overtime, man?
No.
Oh, you still on air or you off?
I'm off. You're dreaming.
Oh.
This is all a dream.
Oh, my bad, Dan. I didn't mean to disturb.
Yeah, you still sleep.
All right, Dan. You on tomorrow?
Yes.
All right, then, player.
All right. Look at that. I just convinced the nigga he's asleep. You can't tell me nothing. I'm going out on a high. I just convinced a wide awoke nigga that he is still asleep. You can't tell me nothing. You can't tell me nothing. I'm about to get out of here. I don't think you can beat that. I couldn't top that. There's nothing I can do to top that. That's it. I'm out. Y'all go about y'all day. Enjoy the rest of y'all day. Be the reason that somebody smiles today. Until next time, I'm out. Peace.